In this video, I'm going to share with you guys exactly how I built an automated system for meeting a lot of high quality women by leveraging automation and other people's time. And of course, you're going to learn how to do this yourself by watching how I did it for me. I'm going to train you on that. But first, I would like to share the major epiphany with you guys that changed my dating life forever and led to the creation of this whole automated system thing. So once upon a time, I was living in Los Angeles and I was very frustrated with my results that I was getting with women, probably like many of you guys watching this video. And also like many of you guys, it wasn't that I couldn't get any girls at all or I was this incredibly lonely guy, nothing like that. It's just that the few girls that I was getting, they were very low quality. I mean, you know the type of girls that you get intimate with them one time and then, no worky anymore for round two. The kind of girls that you'd be embarrassed, quite frankly, to have your friends see you with them. And just girls that, in general, they don't physically excite you, don't really turn you on. And therefore, there's absolutely no potential for anything long-term with them. So I said to myself, okay, I want to find guys that are already dating the type of women that I want so I can model their success. And that's when I had this epiphany, because I was going through my Rolodex and trying to, think, okay, who are these guys that I know that are consistently getting the girls that actually look good? And I noticed that every guy that I was trying to model had one thing in common. He had engineered his life in some way. He had some type of automated system for meeting a lot of women. That was it. They just set their lives up in a way where they were constantly meeting to women. So one of these guys was the president of his fraternity at a college, and he was constantly planning events with the sororities and therefore meeting a lot of women. The other guy that I knew that was getting a lot of hot chicks was a DJ at a nightclub, and he was constantly meeting women both at the nightclub and through the after parties he would get invited to. And then this last guy, I don't know the details exactly, but I think it was like an aviation school or something. I'm not really sure, but basically every semester they would come in and train a new crop of flight attendants, many of whom are female and many of whom are hot. So it's like every semester, 100 new hot girls would come in. He can meet those girls. Next month, 100 new girls. Next month, 100 new girls, etc. And none of these guys in particular were jacked or good looking or rich. They just simply had their lives engineered where they were exposed to an enormous volume of new women they were constantly meeting. They were just playing a numbers game. I mean, think about it. If I introduced you to 100 new beautiful women per month, would you ever have any problems in your dating life ever again? No. The fact of the matter is that if you had some automated system, which like I said, whether it was me or somebody else was constantly introducing you to new beautiful women, you would never have any issues again, no matter what you wanted. I mean, if you wanted to hook up with a bunch of girls, you would have to meet a whole bunch of women to do that, right? On the opposite end of the spectrum, if you wanted one special girl to be your wife or girlfriend, well, you would also need to meet a lot of women because you need a large pool of candidates to choose from to find one girl to be in a long-term relationship with. And if you had any issues with your vibe, your confidence, you get attached too quickly, you get nervous maybe, that could also be solved by meeting a lot of women because you just simply have more reference experiences to build your confidence and your abundance mindset over time because you're just, meeting so many girls. Okay, so I know what you guys are thinking, like, cool, you get it, automated system, sounds cool, meet a lot of girls, but like what? Is this dude gonna tell me to, go work at some aviation school so I could meet the flight attendants or, go back to college so I could be president of my fraternity? No, I'm not going to do that. Those were just examples to kind of illustrate this epiphany. And fortunately for you guys, I have spent the last 3 years perfecting an automated system for meeting a lot of beautiful women that doesn't require like any of that weird stuff. I'm not going to tell you to like, oh, just go be a DJ or anything like that. I wanted the system to be applicable to any guy. And it was also important that this system didn't rely on you to be super tall or super good looking or super jacked because clearly, I am none of those things. And to give a little bit of a hint, the system involves social media, it involves automations, it involves an online dating virtual assistant to help constantly feed you new like leads and prospects, basically, new women who are interested in going out with you. And then they spend all their time doing all the work and you just deal with the women that are interested in going out with you. And actually, I already pre-recorded this training in my laptop. So without any further ado, let's jump into my laptop right now and I'm going to share the training with you guys right now. Okay, everybody, I'm in my laptop now so we can begin the training, which is, of course, how to meet more women by using automation and other people's time. That's the goal. We want to meet as many high-quality women as possible, and we want to do it as smart as possible by leveraging other people's time and effort. So what you're going to learn by the end of this video is, number one, how to create what I call the high-status social media profile that is attractive to women even if you aren't good looking, okay? This profile, they'll see it and boom, they'll be attracted to you, even if you aren't a gorgeous looking guy, even if you're very average, just like me. We'll go over that in a lot of detail. Number 2, how you can use video to create attraction from women by showcasing a charming personality. This is something that nobody else is talking about. This is completely revolutionary. You will only see it here until all the people start ripping me off, all the other creators. And this is the key to getting the attention from the 9s and 10s on Instagram, guys, okay? And we'll show you some of my results and results of clients in a second. And you'll also learn number 3, the most important part, which is how to automate the entire process of putting this attractive, high-status profile that we're building in front of as many women as possible with the help of a virtual assistant to free up your time. And basically, they'll just, once you have the high-status profile and a well-trained virtual assistant, they're just going to start handing you dates with high-quality women on a silver platter with very minimal time effort required on your part. All right, so I go by Casey Redbeard on the internet. My YouTube channel is Redbeard Rants. I have been on some of the largest men's podcasts in the world, network with all the greatest in the dating space, such as Fresh and Fit, obviously, Good Friends, RSD Tyler, a.k.a. Owen Cook, Rollo Tomasi, too many people to name, Dave Perota, Austin Summers. Basically, everyone in the industry is my friend. I'm a YouTuber, like I said, content creator in the dating space. I focus more on creating automated systems for meeting women. I do some in-person stuff and confidence building, but I focus more on building the systems. And these are the results from my systems for myself. And you'll see in a second the results for my clients. Everybody that I know who's tried this has dated beautiful women. And if you pay attention and implement this, you will do the same. Now, some key distinctions. Number 1, modern dating has moved from meeting people in person to meeting them online. So if you're one of these guys that still thinks you're going to run around nightclubs buying drinks for girls or spending a lot of money on bottle service or run around grocery stores or university college campuses cold approaching girls, listen, I love cold approach for the social skills and confidence building, but in terms of return on investment for your time and the quality of women that you meet, it just doesn't work that well anymore. It's very sad. It's how I started, but cold approach doesn't work that well anymore. It's all about meeting women on dating apps and even more so on Instagram, which we'll talk about more. Key distinction number 2, your social media, your Instagram, your dating app profile, your Hinge, your whatever, any social media profile you have, that is now your resume. That is your business card. That is how you are perceived, and that has how you are judged by people, especially in this case, beautiful women. And key distinction number 3, there's no point in automating any of this stuff, getting a virtual assistant to find you girls and swipe on dating apps for you, track them down on Instagram, etc., all of which we'll talk about, until you have the attractive profile first. If your profile isn't attractive to women, if it doesn't scream high status, fun, social, interesting, confident, charismatic, leader, alpha, etc., if your profile doesn't convey those things, it doesn't matter how many eyeballs you put that profile in front of them, it's not going to work because your profile isn't attractive to women in the first place. So I like to make this analogy, right? Well, let's tell a tale of 2 resumes, like job resumes, right? Which candidate are you more likely to hire for your job? Let's say you work at a top tech company, and this dapper gentleman says, oh yeah, I've worked at Google, I was a lead engineer at Microsoft, I was one of the initial developers of OpenAI, ChatGPT, and I have this very, very impressive resume, and I'm dressed sharply. Are you going to hire this guy, or are you going to hire this guy who says he worked as a entry-level developer at a small web design agency in Uzbekistan, okay? You are going to hire this guy. So this is what we're doing. We're going to build a high-status social media profile where we look like the first guy, not like the second guy, and then it's about getting as many eyeballs, right? So imagine if you were getting a job at LinkedIn. You were looking for a job on LinkedIn. Number 1, you'd want to build a good resume, and number 2, you'd want to put that resume in front of as many recruiters, HR departments at all your ideal companies you want to work for. So that's the 2 things, right? It's a 2-step formula. Number 1, you build the attractive resume. Number 2, you get that resume in front of as many eyeballs as possible. We're going to talk a lot more about how to do this and why this is so important, okay? Volume is the key, but again, the volume doesn't matter until you have the attractive profile first. So first things first, let's build that good resume. But begs the question, how do we build a good resume? How do we build a high-status social media profile? So the key is presentation, guys. It's all about presentation. Now, restaurants have been doing this for years, especially the boozy restaurants. They've been tricking you into thinking that this chicken parm is at all different from this chicken parm. Okay, both of these are chicken parmesan. They're exactly the same thing. They're just presented very differently. This one has higher contrast. It's brighter. It's more colorful. It has the green, the parsley flakes as a garnish, a piece of garlic bread. It overall looks a lot more appetizing in photos, yet it's really the same thing. And it works the same with human beings. Now, I know these are two different people, but just go with me, right? It's two human beings sitting in a chair, but for one man, the presentation is a lot better. He's in a much more luxurious environment. It's shot on a much more high quality camera. He's sharp. He's in focus. He has a cool pose. He's making a cool expression. And this guy looks sunburned. The color grading is off. The photo is grainy. He's dressed very basically, and he's just sitting in a wooden chair on his lawn. But again, you see the difference here. It's not necessarily what you're doing in the photo. You could just be standing around or just sitting in a chair, but it's these things that we're going to talk about more in depth as this presentation. Just to drive another example home of this presentation, this is like a basic presentation versus a good presentation, right? We can think about from a girl's perspective, which one of these guys looks more high status? If one of these guys were to DM her on Instagram, or if she was to see their dating app profile on Hinge, which guy is she more likely to want to talk to want to message, to want to go out with? And again, I get that this guy's, quite a bit older than the original guy, so I get it's not a perfect example, but I just want to drive this home. This is a very basic photo taken on a very basic camera with basic looking girls in a basic looking restaurant, and the guy is dressed very basically. Okay, this is not a good presentation. This, on the other hand, is beautiful environment, beautiful women, awesome social circle, very, very well dressed, good lighting. Everything about it is good. And it comes down to 5 factors, which we'll talk about in a second. I call them the Fantastic 5. But first, let's talk about a quick case study. It's the same gentleman, Stephen Smith. This guy originally came to me. We'll look at his, before resume versus his after. Unfortunately, most of you guys, even if you think you have an all right social media, you have all right photos, it may not be quite this bad, but it's probably not much better than this. I would say 70 to 80% of guys who initially reach out to me for help have photos that more or less look like this. And this is the result after. If you implement the stuff that I'm talking about, if you follow what I teach step by step, these are the results you can get. And you can think again from a woman's perspective, right? Which guy is she more likely to date? This first Steven that looks like the, weird kung fu master, grainy, can't see his face very well, or the guy who looks like the boss of a Fortune 500 company giving a speech to a room full of people. From a woman's perspective, when she sees this, what is she going to think? Confident, alpha, leader, important, knowledgeable, etc. All these different things, right? And you can see here, I'll move my face out of the way. Again, you can imagine as a girl, which one are you more likely to want to match with? This guy right here or this guy right here? And again, all due respect to Steven, he's a very average looking guy, just like me. He's a little bit chubby, not tall and not extremely good looking, but he's just presented a lot better. And the results have been, quite amazing for him. This is a girl I would say, definitely like, 8.5 range. This girl's also very beautiful as well. And again, Steven is a very average looking guy because he has the two things, the high status, which is another word for attractive profile, and a lot of volume. These are results you can expect to get. And I've already showed my results as well. So we've kind of, talked about this presentation stuff, but let's go a little bit deeper, right? Because again, before we even talk about the automation, we have to build this attractive profile, which has good presentation, right? So I call this the Fantastic 5. Before I called it the Core 4, but I've changed it to be the Fantastic 5. These are the rules of what makes a good photo for a high status profile. The 5th one is the new one I added, which is you're making a comfortable expression. But let's go through them. So to ensure you have a good presentation, you look attractive in your photos for dating apps, social media, not even necessarily attractive, just high status, right? Because again, we're, not all of us are super gorgeous looking guys, and we want to attract women based on our status, lifestyle, our confidence, our humor, our personality. We'll talk more about that when we get to the video section. But anyway, here they are. Fashion, lighting, grooming, location, and a comfortable expression. So being well-dressed, good lighting, well-groomed, being in a good location, a luxurious location, and not looking like, like a weird, like an uncomfortable, like fake smile, but actually having a nice, warm expression, okay? So lighting and grooming are pretty obvious. So let's focus on the others. Lighting, you just want as much light as possible directly onto you. You don't want harsh, sunlight where you're squinting where it's too bright. You just want a good amount of light coming onto you, not a lot of light behind you. And grooming, just make sure the neck hairs are trimmed, no funky eyebrows sticking out, nice haircut, etc., whatever it is. Those are pretty easy. So let's focus on the others. So fashion, I recommend what I call a business casual. Again, we're going for high status, right? If you're just gorgeous and you're a 10 out of 10 model looking guy, you can kind of dress however you want and you'll be able to get away with it. But for myself and for all my clients, we've gotten the best results from women by dressing like a guy who has high status, which would be business casual. As you can see here, here's a photo of myself. And again, on the other Fantastic Five, I have a nice expression, a very comfortable kind of smirky smile, but I'm not over smiling. I'm well dressed. I look comfortable. I'm in a luxurious location. I'm posed well. The lighting is good. Same thing here. This is, I guess, on YouTube. I don't want to say this man's name because I don't want this video to get taken down. And YouTube actually hates these two brothers, but you probably know who this is. And again, this is that business casual look. A cheat code for this is like a tritone pattern. You can buy slacks and shirts, maybe a vest or maybe a blazer, and just pair up 3 different colors, right? In this case, it's white, gray, and black. You want to go for a light color, a medium tone, and a dark. So in this case, the light color is white, the medium tone is gray, and the dark color is black. Same thing here. We have the tritone color pattern. You pretty much can't mess this up as long as you have, like I said, a light tone, a medium tone, and a dark. In this case, the light tone is like the baby blue shirt, the medium tone is the gray pants, and the darker tone would be the navy blazer. Any 3 colors, as long as they, there's some rules. I wouldn't pair like green and purple, but if you do a quick Google image search for business casual men's fashion, you'll find unlimited ideas. And you could also just do 2-tone as well, right? A light and dark color. Black and gray slacks is a great combination. In this case, it's blue with black. So if you don't want to go full on blazer, if it's warm where you live or you just don't feel comfortable wearing that, you can easily go for just a 2-tone pattern here, okay? The next thing, this is one of the most difficult, is taking photos in luxurious locations. Okay, this is kind of what separates the men from the boys. So a good one is water. Taking photos by any body of water will definitely bode well for you. So you can see here I have my friend David Bond. Here I am in some water, posing by water in a pool in front of the ocean. Generally tends to photograph well, and this is definitely an idea for a good location. Rooftop lounges and balconies, I absolutely love these. Every time I do photo shoots with clients, I always take them to rooftop lounges. And again, we could focus on, the Fantastic Five. He's well dressed. Once again, we see the 3-tone color pattern, light, medium, and dark color. He has a good expression. He's well groomed. So you can see he's following all the principles, which are lighting, fashion, grooming, location, and again, he's making a good expression, right? Here's another, rooftop example. Fancy restaurants, I do this a lot too. So between all of these, I would say fancy restaurants and rooftop lounges are the most common. Here I am at a nice restaurant with some friends. Here we go again. These are group shots, but they easily be solo shots. Here's Steven again. Posing in front of the bar, it comes out very colorful, and these just tend to photograph very, very well. Nice hotels. So hotels have lobbies, they have pools, they have staircases, they have restaurants, they have balconies. So nice hotels, you can really get a lot of photos done in one location. Cigar lounges, if they're your thing. I would say especially if you're like a software guy or you're Indian or Asian and women kind of write you off as like the safe guy, not, too much of a bad boy. Getting a photo of you smoking a cigar can definitely give you a bit more of that bad boy, that sexy, that danger appeal. And cigars are treated differently than cigarettes, so it won't ruin attraction for like the healthy girls. Hobby shots are great. Playing guitar, surfing, cooking. I'm big in cooking. Music. Oh my God, girls love this. So getting some hobby shots is definitely going to bode well in building this high status profile, as well as high value activities, right? So jet skis are very luxurious. They can be a bit expensive. Being on a yacht, being on a boat. Certainly, I like to craft photos where my clients are giving a speech to a room full of people because, again, a girl knows nothing about this guy. What's she going to assume? Boss, leader, charismatic, successful. Maybe she's going to assume he's rich, whatever it is, right? So that's it for photography. Now let's talk video. Okay, so we talked about the Fantastic Five. I gave you a bunch of examples. I gave you, where you can take these photos, how you should dress. We talked about lighting, fashion, grooming, location. Now let's talk about video specifically. So what exactly is this charming video content that I speak of? How can we use our personality to attract women rather than relying on our looks? Well, I'm going to show you an example of this right now. Alexa, how's the weather today?
Who is Alexa?
Oh, sorry. Siri.
Seriously? Who's Alexa?
Nobody. Forget about it. Can you just tell me, please, what's the weather going to be like today?
Why don't you ask the Alexa to tell you the weather?
Oh my God, Alexa. Siri. Siri.
You.
Okay, cool. So you saw that, just a quick, funny video. Actually, it was very, very easy to produce. And there's other videos you can produce that are even easier, just selfie videos. But the point is, why does that video work so well? Why would a beautiful girl who sees me on Instagram and she watches that video, why does that work so well? Well, it instantly transforms you or me from flat 2D images on a screen into a real person. You instantly become relatable. She thinks she knows you. She thinks that she gets you and that you get her. And like I said a million times, you can create attraction by being charming, by being funny, by having good comedic timing, by using charisma rather than just focusing on your looks. And the results from this charming content is it basically doubled the percentage of random beautiful women who would accept my follow request and then follow me back on Instagram. So to make this clear, I have a virtual assistant. VA is virtual assistant. Every day he follows about 20 women on Instagram. And, on any given day, it really just depends. It's somewhere between like 5 to 8, let's just call it 7 on average, of these women follow me back. Now I can, scroll through these. We could, die of old age, before I get through all of them. These are all, beautiful women as well. I train them very well not to go after ugly chicks. And it basically doubled the amount of women. So before, if I was following, 20 women, maybe 2 or 3 would follow back. Now it's closer to, 6, 7, sometimes even 8 girls follow me back since adding that video content, right? So that was a total game changer. Now, speaking of an online dating virtual assistant, perfect segue. You're probably wondering, where do we hire one? How much do we pay them? What should I say in the job post? And how do you make sure they're doing a good job? So let me just pause for a second and make this, abundantly clear. I have somebody who is inside of my dating apps. They're logged into my Tinder, into my Bumble, my Hinge, and they're swiping right on the girls that I have trained them specifically that I think are beautiful on my type. And they're also in my Instagram. They're commenting on girls' posts. They're following girls, hoping that they'll follow me back. They're messaging girls or liking photos. They're going out into the world from my social media accounts and finding these women, interacting with them, matching them, messaging them. And then I take over once I have a warm lead, okay? So just wanted to make that very, very clear. This is somebody in a third world country that, I pay pretty cheaply to. And let's go into answering all these questions you're probably having about, how this all works. So number one, where do we hire these virtual online dating assistants? Because again, this is the training about automation. We're building an automated system to put ourselves in front of as many high quality women as possible to free up our time, maximize efficiency, and increase results, and just quite frankly, save time. So we hire them from Upwork.com, onlinejobs.ph, and you can even use Instagram ads. So if you have passport bros that are overseas, let's say you're in Argentina and you want to hire a local Argentinian guy who really understands the dating market there, knows how things work, and can maybe even message the girls in Spanish a little bit for you, send openers and basic messages and maybe warm them up even a little bit. You can go to Instagram, set your account to a business account, post a story that says, hey, if you live in Buenos Aires and speak English, send me a message. And then you could actually, once your account's a business account and you post that story, when you view your own story, there'll be a button that says boost story. And you can boost that out. You can say, okay, I want to boost this to, 25 to 35-year-old men who live in Buenos Aires, and people will respond and they'll know that it's like for a job, and you can hire people in your actual local dating market this way. Number two, how much do I pay them? About $350 a month for doing this roughly full-time, 5 days a week, about an hour and a half, Monday through Friday. And if you wanted them to work weekends too, I guess you could pay them more. And if you wanted them to work less, just part-time, probably even around 200 a month would cut it. Comment question number 3. What should I say in the job post? So this video is being hosted on YouTube, and there will be a link to the exact job post in the description of this video. So there you go. You have the exact job post to attract the perfect candidates. Now, before we get into how do I make sure they're doing a good job, a few quick hiring notes while we're on the subject of hiring. If you're using Upwork, only hire people that are in the top rated or top rated plus category. When you go to this website, you'll see what I'm talking about. You check these boxes, and they'll only show you the candidates that have, the best job performance. And number 2, talk to them first and ask them some basic problem-solving questions and give them a little IQ test, because if you hire a total idiot, they'll just constantly mess things up and they'll just frustrate you, and you won't save any time, at all. They'll actually do a much worse job than if you just did this yourself. An example question I give them is the following stat. Is there anything misleading about the following stat? I literally ask them this on an interview. I'll say, in China, there's 23,000 fast food restaurants, and in Sweden, there's only 20,000. So again, we're talking about the number of fast food restaurants per country. In China, there's 20,000, and in Sweden, there's 23,000. There's 23,000 in China, 20,000 in Sweden. Therefore, fast food consumption is a bigger problem in China. What they're supposed to say is, well, no, per capita, there's actually a lot more fast food restaurants in Sweden. Like China is an infinitely bigger country than Sweden. They're supposed to immediately get this oh, wait a minute, there's only a few more fast food restaurants, in China with a much bigger population. No, that stat would be very misleading. The bigger problem would be Sweden because So I'll put a copy of that question in the description of the video as well. And again, if people don't just nail that question right away, just move on to the next person, because it means you're dealing with a moron, and they'll just constantly make your life a living hell, and they'll do crappy. Okay, so now on to a big one. How do you make sure that they're doing a good job? Okay, your new online dating virtual assistant, you have your new high status profile, you have this new hire. How do you know they're doing a good job? Well, you're likely to run into 2 common issues. Number 1 is that they don't understand your type. They're swiping on girls that are ugly to you or just not attractive enough, and you guys just clearly seem to have a disagreement on what an attractive girl is, or they're lazy and they don't do the work properly. So I'll show you the solution to both of these issues. So the solution for they don't understand your type is you can actually create what I call a girl hotness quiz, and 2 different folders of examples of girls you like and examples of girls you don't like, and you can show them on a Zoom call, or just send it to them and say, hey, I've been screenshotting from dating apps or Instagram my type of girls that I like, and also type girls that I don't like, and give them a quiz. And actually, I'm just gonna play a video right now to literally illustrate this and show you this. Okay, so I keep 2 folders here. I'll do the first one, example of girls I like, and you'll see in here it's a big, curvy, beautiful Latina women, a lot of brown, indigenous, curvaceous, young, beautiful women. This is what I like. I know not every guy is into this, but this is what I like, and I try to keep, at least 30 or 40 photos in here to properly train them on what I like. And I also have a folder, example of girls that I don't like. You'll see in here skinny blondes, which I don't like, girls that would be beautiful, but they're covered with tattoos. Girls with short hair that look like feminists, blue hair. So it has all my red flags and deal breakers, just way too skinny, kind of a manly jaw. So you got to be really, really clear with them. And if you want to get super, super nerdy, what I've even done is I made a quiz. So they have to literally take this quiz where it's just yes, no on, every single one of these girls that they take after I've kind of trained them, because this can be a big problem, right? If they're swiping on the wrong girls, if they're messaging girls on Instagram or getting you matches with girls that, you don't think are hot, that you're not attracted to, this whole thing is pointless. So whether you just keep it, as folders of examples of girls you like and don't like, or you get really nerdy and make a quiz, either way, you've got to drill into their brain exactly what type of girls that you like. Okay, cool. So I hope that was informative. Pretty basic stuff there. And the solution for they are lazy, okay? You're going to have them track everything they do in a Google spreadsheet for the Instagram stuff. So, okay, which girls did they follow that day? And like which girls did they comment on? Did they go back and unfollow the girls that didn't follow you back, etc. And then for swiping on the apps, you don't have to have them do this, indefinitely, but at least at the beginning, just tell them to screen record their 25 or 30 minutes of swiping, however, much time you tell them you want to swipe per day. Say, hey, open up Tinder, swipe for 15 minutes, make a screen share video, and then send that to me. Then do the same thing in Hinge, then do the same thing on Bumble, right? And that way you can literally see without any shadow of a doubt that they're doing their work because they're actually sending you screen sharings. Now, if you're getting a lot of matches per day and they're doing their work because the matches just keep rolling in, you can definitely, cut that out. So that's easy enough, especially on the dating apps and stuff. Swiping sounds pretty easy. But how do they find these girls on Instagram, right? Well, as it just so happens, I made a quick video for that. So let me show you that video right now. So there's a ton of ways to find girls on Instagram for your virtual assistant to contact. Let's just assume you live in Miami. I already have a search here. Yeah, top nightclubs. Top nightclubs in Miami. I've already done this before as I practice this recording. But anyway, we see here, club spaces at the top. They also have live. Let's just go with live at this point. Doesn't really matter. You can find beauty salons, gyms, nightclubs, top restaurants. It doesn't really matter. Hot girls will follow these places. So if we go to Instagram here, and if I come in here and I just say, what was the club? Yeah, Live Miami. And okay, cool. Live Miami. What I want to do is find the, not the actual club, but like the geolocation for it. So if I click one of these images, boom, you see right where I'm clicking where it says Live Miami. I want to be here, kind of like on the map view. I want to click recent, and there's going to be a lot of, so unfortunately there's a lot of like stupid ass promoters kind of clogging it up here. But, here's one girl, again, she's hot if you don't mind the tattoos. And again, there's a lot of bullshit like flyers and stuff like that. But, here's another girl. As you just keep scrolling through this, you'll keep finding more girls for them to contact. And then you can also have them go to this girl's profile and say, okay, well, clearly she lives in Miami. Again, I don't know what the fuck they're doing with the tattoos. She may live, well, she's got a lot of photos in Los Angeles and Miami, but let's assume that she lives in Miami because for the most part, most of her photos in Miami. And let's ignore the tattoos, but even from this girl's profile, you can see that you can find more. You can find who's liked her photos, right? There could be some girls in here. It does seem like a lot of thirsty guys, but cool. This could be a potential girl. She's also in Miami. Now I could go on this girl and see who's commenting on her stuff or who's liking her photos. And I can really go down the rabbit hole and basically find unlimited profiles this way. Okay, cool. So you just saw how quickly and easy it is for them to find hot girls in your area. You can just, use that when you're training these people. And the important thing is tracking everything in a Google spreadsheet so you can, number one, make sure that the girls are your type. Again, if you like, big booty Latinas or skinny blondes, you got to make sure that actually they're your type and that you're actually working. And again, like I said, if you're just getting so much attention on Instagram, you don't have to have them fill out this spreadsheet anymore if you don't want. So if you haven't noticed by now, this is a numbers game, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching this video, you're probably a pretty picky dude, and you probably have a specific type. If you're anything like me, you want them young, beautiful, no children, no history of any adult type work, that they've never had a sugar daddy, that they don't do drugs, no history of mental illness, that they work out, that they aren't annoying, etc. And in case you were born yesterday, these women, like the ones I just talked about with all these characteristics, beautiful, young, workout, etc., no kids, they have unlimited options in men. They literally have unlimited amount of high status men that they can choose from. So why would they want you? Like, they can have anybody they want. So if you're not contacting a lot of women and playing a large numbers game, hence why we use automation, hence why I just told you exactly how to go and hire and train and manage an online dating virtual assistant, then you pretty much don't have a chance, right? Now, I remember on this whole, volume game, when I used to own a marketing agency, I noticed a clear correlation between volume and output of results. The more cold emails I sent, it was like for an e-commerce company. So there's a platform for companies in e-commerce called Shopify. The more cold random emails I would send out into the ether of these Shopify store owners, the more sales calls I would book, and the more sales calls I booked, the more clients I would close, period. If I sent, 1,000 cold emails a day, I may get 1 appointment booked. If I sent 5,000 cold emails a day, I may get 5 appointments booked, right? It was literally like my success rate of hiring clients was literally a volume game. And actually, this is kind of how I came up with this system, is by being a digital marketer first and applying digital marketing practices to dating. And I'm the only one in the world that's doing this. So, and you're welcome, because I'm teaching you everything I know for free. So like I've been saying, volume is king, period. The more output you do, the more results you get, assuming you have the attractive high status profile as well. If you don't do that, then you're done. The volume doesn't matter. If you're putting a low status basic Instagram or a dating app profile with crappy photos in front of women, none of this stuff matters. Now, in case you're thinking, but this sounds like too many girls, and how could I even deal with all that volume? Oh my God, it's so much volume of women. Well, keep in mind, a large percentage of these interactions will result in ghosting. That is just the nature of the game, especially with high quality women. So when I was showing those screenshots of like, every day, 7 new beautiful women match with me on Instagram, a lot of these women don't respond to my message. A lot of these women fall off the map and end up ghosting me. A lot of these women I find out I just don't connect with. We get on video call and it's awkward. We don't connect. So you need a high amount of volume, especially when you're going with the high quality women, because ghosting is the nature of the game with these women. And that's why it's so important to have an online dating virtual assistant pumping out this volume for you. So, I mean, the truth is, look, if you make even at a very, very, very bare minimum 50 to 60K a year, then you're crazy to do this yourself, right? You're absolutely crazy to sit there and, I'm going to open up Hinge and swipe for 15 minutes and close that out and then go to Tinder and then go to Instagram. And it takes like an hour and a half a day to properly do like the required volume. If you're like an average looking guy that wants to date beautiful women, you have to play such a numbers game, because again, these women have so many options. You have to find the few beautiful women that look at like your face, your genetics, and go, oh damn, that guy's hot. Like that guy's a sexy, sexy man. Very low percentage of exceptionally beautiful women are going to say that when they look at my face, but some will. And that's the point. That's why we need to automate this. And like I said, you're just absolutely nuts. You're crazy if you're even thinking about doing this yourself. If you make at least 50 to 60K a year, when it can be outsourced for $5 an hour, okay? Especially now that I've just given you my entire system for free, so you're welcome. Now that you have my whole system, it's basically just on you to execute at this point. So you have one of two options. You can go to upwork.com and start looking for a virtual assistant following, remember the job post is in the description of the video. I've taught you about giving them an IQ test. I've talked about the importance on training them on the type of girls. I've talked about how you can manage their work. I've given you literally virtually my entire system for free. Okay. So, you're welcome. So you can go to Upwork and do it yourself, or you can just have me run the entire thing for you. Just contact me on Instagram if you're interested. My Instagram is redbeardrans1. There'll be a link to my Instagram profile. I can also just, run this whole thing as a service for you. So like I said, go to the description, go to my Instagram if you want me to run it. But remember, I said this a million times, you need the high status profile that is attractive to women first. But either way, whether you do this on your own or you want to do it with my help, whether you want to do it on your own or you want me to help you, none of this matters if you don't take action. So this is a great free training. Don't get all excited. Woohoo, like I've learned all this stuff, and then don't just sit on it. You have to actually take action. Now, I think I've done a pretty good job in pointing you guys in the right direction with this free training about, how to hire the virtual assistant. Talked about the importance of video content, having funny videos on there. We talked about the Fantastic Five and locations and fashion and posing and how to get your photos done. But this is actually just the tip of the iceberg. If you want to go even deeper, then you definitely want to check out my Modern Dating Mastery program. Modern Dating Mastery, in a nutshell, is it's all the essential tools that you need to survive and thrive in, quite frankly, what is the worst dating market we've ever seen as men. The rules of modern dating have changed due to feminism, social media, and just in general, a lot of anti-male propaganda. Dating for the modern man is more difficult than ever. But hey, I'm not really here to pitch you. This is just, a free training, so I hope you enjoyed. But if you did enjoy it, and I've, proven to you that, hey, if this guy's free stuff is this good, imagine how good, his paid stuff is. It is a paid program, and you do want more help, then definitely check out Modern Dating Mastery. There will be a link on this page somewhere. The button might say learn more or check out Modern Dating Mastery. I don't know, but there'll be a button somewhere on this page. And if you're just watching it on YouTube, there will be a link in the description of the video for Modern Dating Mastery, of course. Okay, guys, that was the end of the training. How to automate your dating life and meet high-quality women by leveraging other people's time. I hope you enjoyed. Peace.